In this video, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to set up your blog on Squarespace. There's basically three different components we need to look at to do this properly. The first is the structural settings of your blog, and the next is the design settings for your blog, both in terms of your blog page and your blog posts. So if you come over to the internal navigation inside your Squarespace account, you click on Settings and then Blogging. You'll see all of the structural settings related to your blog. The first is your post URL format. This is your URL structure, or the way that you'll structure your blog post addresses. I have mine set to %T, which means for every URL that's created within my blog, the URL will be structured as the name of the blog followed by the title of the post. You can also include the day, the month, and the year that your blog post is published if you choose. Next is the comment settings. By clicking here, you're taken to a whole host of comment settings. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. There's just a few things to note. Auto disable is the number of days after you publish your post that you would like your comments to be disabled. We don't ever want our post comments to be disabled, so we keep it as never. And then you have comment flags. How many flags should a comment receive before you would like to be notified? We want to be notified every time a comment receives a flag, so we've kept it to 1. Clicking back here takes you back to all of the blogging settings. And the next one we have is the Discuss short name. Squarespace offers a built-in blog commenting system, and they also offer Discuss, which comes with additional functionality, including the ability for your audience to add images in their comments and things like threaded conversations. To be honest, both the Squarespace commenting system and the Discuss commenting system have their pros and cons. If you're new, I wouldn't overwhelm yourself. Stick with Squarespace's commenting system, which looks like this. There we are. Until you know more. Next in your blog settings is simple liking. Clicking on simple liking, now look over here where we have Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. And now by clicking on simple liking, we've added in this box here, which is people can simply like a post like that. And the final option on this page is AMP. You want to check this for sure. AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages and means that your pages are served up in a way that speeds up the loading time on mobile views. This can really help with your ranking in Google. Now that we looked at the structural settings for your blog, let's look at the design settings. When you create a blog post, you simply go into your pages, you find your blog, and then you click on this plus sign here. And that produces a blog post box where you can write, where you can add different kinds of content like posters, buttons, you can add audio if you choose, images. This becomes the home of each of your blog posts. But when you publish a post, Squarespace is designed to put this information in two different places. Obviously there's the actual blog post, which we're looking at now. The other place is your blog summary. And that's this page here, which holds a list of all of your blog posts with varying amounts of information depending on the way you've set this page up. So the blog page, you could think of it as connecting your reader to all of your blog posts. That's how all of your posts are actually found through your internal navigation. So let's look at how we can optimize the way our blog page appears. So we'll go back here, back to Home, Design, Style Editor. And because we're on this page, we're going to be able to pull up specific styling options for this page. So when we click on this page, click here, all of this information changes. Because these options appear when you click on the page, it basically means if you don't have your blog set up yet on your website, none of these options will yet appear to you. One thing to note is because this headline here is main and it doesn't actually include the word blog, any changes you make here will be universal to your whole website. So if I change the background color to red, my whole site will change. So let's just quickly change that back. So blog metadata, that refers to this information here. You can change what kind of metadata you include. Right now I include the category and I have the date listed for this example, but we could include the author, you can include the number of comments you've received. The thing to know here is that this setting for metadata is universal, so it will appear like this on your blog page as well as your blog posts. We also have the title blog list. These settings here impact how your posts appear on the blog page. We could change it to a stacked view if we wanted to. We could change it to having 6 posts per line. You can change the spacing, you can change the alignment, you can change the spacing away from the image. You can choose not to have the image in if you want. You can also choose not to have the title or the excerpt. And if we took out our category for the metadata, we would just simply have our images shown. We can also change the way the titles appear. So let's change the title font to be this one here. And you can see that changed all of the titles. You can also obviously change the excerpt and the read more link down here. Now we're going to look at how to optimize your blog posts in terms of the design. So click on, if we come out of design here and we click on one of the posts, it pulls up a post, which is also the post template. Now if we go into Style Editor, we'll have options relating to how our posts look. So clicking on this page, and you can see it changes what's here. So again, it's worth noting that there's no mention of blog in front of content for both the fonts and the colors, and that indicates that if we change any of these fonts or any of their colors, it will be a global change across your whole website. You need to look for the word blog in the list. So let's try clicking on the title. When we click on the title, blog item comes up and blog typography and colors. So we know that these settings are specific to your blog. So we could change the headline again. So there you go, you can see that that changes. Remember I mentioned before that the metadata settings are global across your website. So if we were to change them here, we would also be changing them on the blog page, which lists a summary of all of your blog posts. So most of this isn't going to be able to be changed unless you want to make universal changes to your website, which I actually don't want to do. The main thing to note about your blog post and what you can customize are the social buttons. So first off, selecting the social buttons. Let me show you how you do that. Come out of design, go back to home, and then if you go into marketing and share buttons, you'll see that you have a whole lot of options of different buttons you can include. So if I click stumble upon and then save and then refresh and back down to the bottom of the page, you'll see that's now included. Let's go back to design and have a look at how we can also edit these buttons. So clicking on the social buttons pulls up the share buttons options. So we could change it to being solid. We could include or not include the icons, the labels you can include or not. You can show the counts. You can make the containers round. You can make them much bigger if you like. You have various options here. A few items pop up in the design editor in relation to your previous and next post settings. These appear at the bottom of a post and guide readers to keep exploring content on your website. So if we click here, we'll see that we have these options, so we can select show pagination arrows and this arrow will appear. We can remove the label next and previous, which would appear over here, but this is the first blog, so there's no previous for this one. You can take out the metadata if you like. You can actually even take out the title and just have next. So it's really up to you. Directly beneath this is some controls for you to change the colors. A couple more things I wanted to highlight before we finish up here. First is that you may have noticed there's actually no sidebar in my blog posts. That's because I'm using the Raleigh template here. The Raleigh template is part of the Brine family of templates produced by Squarespace. They are awesome, they have so much functionality, but one thing they don't have is sidebars. If you choose to go with Raleigh or a Brine template and you really want to have a sidebar, you can always check out sqspthemes.com. So this website sells a whole lot of plugins you can use on your Squarespace website. And you'll see the first one they list is a sidebar plugin. I've heard great things about this, and so you could check it out if you want. The only other thing worth mentioning is that when you go to add your content to your posts, don't forget to do the on-page optimizations that will really help you get ranked in search. For that, there's a great tool out there called Yoast, and you can Google Yoast Real-Time Content Analysis, and that tool will help you work out exactly what content you need to have where, how you need to write your title tag, how you need to write your URL, how you need to write your meta description, all the information you need to include to make sure that your page is well optimized to be found in search. Okay guys, that's really it. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck and happy blogging.